Hello everyone. In the previous video, I had discussed about the neural tissue, which is also called as nervous tissue. You can call as neural or otherwise nervous tissue. Now, till now we have discussed about four different types of tissues. What are they? First one, epithelial tissue we had discussed. Second one, connective tissue. Third one, muscular tissue, and the fourth one, neural tissue. Now over here we come to an understanding after learning about the basic tissues, that is the four main tissues are present in the animal body. The chapter name itself is what? Structural organization in animals. Structural organization in animal. Now, as we have already discussed by now, four different types of tissues. Now, these four different types of tissues, they organize together to form the organ. If you remember, in chapter number 4 we had discussed about different levels, and on that basis classification has been done. Cellular level, starting with cellular level, and then the tissue level, followed by organ level. So here at present what I am talking, that by the aggregation of these four different types of tissues, what happens? Organ is formed. And then again, when more than one organs unite together to perform a specific or special kind of function, then that constitutes the next level, that is the organ system. And when we consider ourselves or other animals also, so many organ systems are present in an individual body, and as a result of the functions which are performed by different kind of systems, the whole organism or an individual organism is formed, and all the functions are carried out in an coordinated way without disturbing each other. Means systems are there, they have their own functions to perform, and so they are able to perform their functions on themselves without disturbing, without interfering with the function of any other system. And that is why over here what happens, that each of these organs, they have formed, is it right, by the coordination or combination of different tissues, and each of these tissues have formed first of all organ, and organs again form organ system, and as a result of that an individual organism body is formed. Now coming further, what we have to discuss, the next topic, we have to learn about the morphology and anatomy. Morphology and anatomy of animal body here, and here we are going to discuss about three different organisms. Out of that, two of them represent the invertebrate and one is representing over here the vertebrate. In case of the invertebrate, two are given in our syllabus, that is earthworm and cockroach. And the second one, in case of the vertebrate, what is included here is about the frog. Means we have to learn about, we have to discuss and we have to learn about the three organisms here. What I said, in case of invertebrate, two are included, and in case of vertebrate, one is there, that is the frog. Now if you have noted down from the beginning what we have been learning, okay, now here what happens, slowly from simple to complex, cellular level, tissue level, organ level, and organ system level. So slowly what happens here, what you can understand here, what you can note down is that what is happening here, there is a trend being followed from simple to complex. And here if you consider the evolution, so there is a trend in evolution also. Means a trend is, this trend over here is called as what? Evolutionary trend, where cells or tissues, organ and organ systems. Just note down this point here. We also notice after some careful study that complexity in organ and organ system displays certain discernible trend, and this trend is called as what? Evolutionary trend. So after learning about the systems or otherwise the morphology and the anatomy of these organisms, we will be in a position or we can understand as to how evolution has taken place. The simplest over here, let us say, is the cockroach and the earthworm. And then coming to the frog, which is a vertebrate. You know about that, which is also included under the phylum Chordata, where we also belong. Now, what do you understand by morphology and anatomy? Now, with these two chapters were there for plants, morphology of flowering plant and anatomy of flowering plant. Morphology refers to here the external structure, the structures which are visible to us, externally visible structures or features which are visible to us when we study about the different form and the external structure of these over here, these organisms here, three organisms, that is earthworm, cockroach and frog here. And in this case, when we talk about morphology, and especially in case of the plant and microbes, we are referring to what? The study of the form or the externally visible features, whatever is visible externally. And in case of animal, a little bit difference is there. You can note down that this is actually the study of external appearance of the organ or the part of the body. What is that? In case of animal, morphology refers to the study of external appearance. मतलब बाहर से वो कैसा दिखाई पड़ता है. External appearance of the organ or the parts of the body. That is in case of especially the animals. Now coming to the anatomy. What is the meaning of, or what do we refer, what do we understand by anatomy? This is the internal structure. This is the internal organs. When we talk about animals, at present our topic is about animal only. So this is referring to the study of morphology of internal organs in the animal body. So one by one we will be discussing about these three organisms. The first one we will take is the earthworm. Now out of these three, two we have to study actually, earthworm and frog. Now coming to the earthworm. Earthworm is also called as friends of farmer because they live in the soil, and mainly here we are talking about the agricultural field where they eat the soil and mainly the humus part, the decaying leaves, twigs and other substances which are left back in the soil, that is the plant remains, and sometimes animal body also. Some animals are dead in the, they are deposited, their body is deposited in the soil, so their body is broken down further or decomposed. So what happens here, the black colored part which is called as humus, that is containing some organic substances which form the food for the earthworm. And these earthworms are very helpful in burrowing, means they go into the soil, come out of the soil. As a result of that, they help in loosening the soil. Soil क्या हो जाता है, लूज हो जाता है. As a result of that, the air can penetrate, and mainly here we are talking about oxygen, because the roots also require oxygen so that they can carry out the process of respiration. So this oxygen can enter into the soil, from where the oxygen can be made available to the roots of the plant. So roots are going to develop and grow further, so that they are going to efficiently take part in the absorption of water and mineral salt. Let us come back to earthworm here. What is the position of earthworm in classification? That means the systematic position of earthworm. It belongs to the kingdom Animalia. Phylum is Annelida. Class is Oligochaeta, Chaeta. Then order is Terricoli, Terricoli. Terricoli. Family Megascolecidae, Megascolecidae, Cidae. And then genus is Ferretima and species is Posthuma. This is the most common earthworm species that are found in India. One more species is there which is found in India, that is Lumbricus. That is given here at the end, Lumbricus. Now here we are talking about the earthworm, general characteristics. So this earthworm, what is the color? They are reddish brown and they live on the land, not totally in the water, they live on the land. Only thing that the soil in which they live should be moist. The soil that they live in is what? Moist over here. That means what? The earthworm first of all is reddish brown in color. They are terrestrial, means living on the land, and they are invertebrate. Earlier I have mentioned about that. And this inhabit the upper layer of the soil. Upper layer of the soil which is moist. Means gilapan, thoda wetness is present there. They cannot live in complete dry soil. Okay. Now during the daytime, what happens? They cannot come out of the soil. They live generally under the soil. During the daytime, when the heat of the sun or the intensity of the sunlight is more, so as a result of that, they have to go deeper inside the soil so that they can protect themselves. So what happens here? During the daytime, they live in the burrows that they make by boring and swallowing the soil. When we discuss about the morphology, here you can see a structure is there that is called as prostomium. This is a wedge-like structure which is helpful. It has some function of sensory, and also it is able to, or it is used for making the burrow to crack, to break the soil particles so that it can move into the soil. Now they can be traced in the garden. You can find the earthworms in the garden or agricultural field by seeing their worm casting. Means what? That is actually the fecal deposit. You understand the feces. Their food, earlier I mentioned that their food is the soil which contains the humus, and in this humus are present some organic substances which form the food for the earthworm. So what happens when they eat this, and then whatever digestion takes place inside their body, and then the fecal material that is removed or adjusted out of the body through their anus, that is over here known as or called as worm castings. So just by seeing the soil surface, surface where these worm castings are located, so nearby there you can find the earthworm. And the common Indian earthworms are, earlier I mentioned about Ferretima and Lumbricus. Here we have mentioned about the genus and the species, that is Ferretima posthuma, and another species is there that is called as Lumbricus. Now looking at the figure here, we are talking about the morphology of earthworm. Morphology of earthworm. Now their body, if you remember, it belongs to first of all phylum Annelida. So if you remember, when we had discussed in chapter number 4 about Annelida, the body is segmented. Means the body is divided into segments. These segments are also called as metamer. The phenomenon is called as, either you call as segmentation or metamerism. So these metamers are there, or segments, their body is divided. So total number of the segments that an adult earthworm can have, it ranges somewhere in between 100 to 120. 100 to 1. This is, let us say, anterior front part, and this is the posterior here. Now one of this figure is showing the dorsal view. This is the dorsal view, and the other one here, it shows the ventral view. In the dorsal view, what we can see is a line here, you can say median line, that is on the dorsal side, and on the ventral side there is no median line, but you can see some other structures are there, like for example CT, SETAE, CT. This is useful for their movement. Then there are some pores or apertures, and two apertures important over here are the female genital aperture and male genital aperture. There is a distinct location which is called as, this is little bit colored apart from other part. Only these three segments are there, 14th, 15th and 16th segment, which is called as clitellum. This is little bit different because here some glands are there which are having the function of secreting some substances in order to pack the egg cells along with the sperm cells which are received from another earthworm. That means they are going to go for cross fertilization. They are hermaphrodite first of all. Hermaphrodite means what? Any organism which has or which possesses both the sex organs, male and female sex organs are present in the same individual. Then these individuals are called as what? Hermaphrodite, or otherwise bisexual. Hermaphrodite or bisexual. Now let us see here one by one what happens here. What I said here about segments I have mentioned, that is somewhere you can say in between 100 to 120 segments are present in an adult form. In an adult form here. The dorsal side here I mentioned about the median line. So that is here we are talking about the dorsal surface of the body is marked by a dark median mid dorsal line. And this actually is because this dorsal line is because there is a blood vessel passing there. That is called as dorsal blood vessel. Along with the longitudinal axis of the body, means along the longitudinal मतलब ये हुआ कि from the front till the end here, anterior to posterior on the dorsal surface, and that also in the mid part. Starting from the anterior to posterior part, what is present here? This dorsal blood vessel is there, which is also referred, that's why as what? Dark dorsal line, mid dorsal line. On the ventral surface I said over here that there are some openings like the female genital pore, male genital pore, all these are located on the ventral side. Now here genital openings, or otherwise you can also call as pore. Instead of opening we can also call as what? Pore. Genital opening or genital pores. In case of female genital pore, this is located in the 14th segment, and that also at the mid ventral side, mid ventral line. Like here we said mid dorsal, very similar to that on the ventral side, and that also in the central part. What is located here is a female genital aperture which is single, only one. Little bit behind this, means behind the 14th segment, 15th and 16th segment, these three segments are clitellum. So in the 18th segment, means 16 के बाद 17th आएगा और एक उसके बाद 18th segment में क्या चीज़ है? Male genital aperture is there. Now these male genital apertures are in pair actually. These are in pair here, and these are located on the ventrolateral side. Ventrolateral side. Just have a look in this figure. This is, let us say, the mid ventral line. Female genital pore in the 14th segment. 14th, 15th and 16th segment is the clitellum. Then in the 18th segment over here, a pair of male genital opening or male genital pore is present, and this is present on the ventrolateral side. It is not lying in the center here. It is not in the mid ventral line over here. It is on the ventrolateral side of 18th segment. Now coming to the anterior part. Anterior part, as I mentioned here, is the first segment. The first segment is called as peristomium. First segment को क्या बोलते हैं? Peristomium. Now in this segment there is a structure, distinct structure is there, which is called as prostomium. Which is called as prostomium. Now it is having two main functions. It is having two main function. That is, one is that it is covering the mouth. First of all, it serves as a covering, and the second one is that it is a wedge that is used for opening the cracks, means breaking the soil particles, and so that the earthworm can move in between the soil particles and make the burrow and move into the soil, or in between the soil into the burrow. And this is also sensory in function. प्रोस्टोमियम जो है वो क्या है, फंक्शन में सेंसरी फंक्शन भी इसका एक काम है. एक बार फिर से, फर्स्ट segment of earthworm is called as peristomium, which is also called as buccal segment, because buccal cavity is starting from there. Just after mouth, buccal cavity starts there. And in this first segment, first of all, the mouth is there and प्रोस्टोमियम इज देयर. प्रोस्टोमियम के दो काम है. क्या क्या है? एक पहला काम कर रहा है वो कि माउथ को कवर हो रहा है, कर रहा है, एंड दूसरा काम ये है दैट इट इज वर्किंग लाइक ए वेज, so that it can force open the crack in the soil so that the earthworm can crawl into the burrow. And this prostomium also is sensory in function. Now coming further, 14th to 16th segment, as I mentioned, is called as clitellum. Now this clitellum is little different from all other parts. All other segments are there. It looks different, little bit different in color. And in this, what is present here, I mentioned earlier about the glands which secrete some secretion or produce some secretion which is useful at the time of packing. Packing what? The female gamete, and then along with that the male gamete that are received from another earthworm. So as a result of that, the sperm and the ovum are packed into cocoon. The structure is called as cocoon, and they are laid outside the body. They are laid outside the body through this female genital aperture. Now coming further, now here, because this clitellum is little different here, no, I said about the color differences you can find here. So because of or based on the location of the clitellum here, or on the basis of the presence of clitellum here, the body we can divide into three regions. 14th, 15th and 16th segment is clitellum. So that's why clitellar region or segment we can write. In front here, till let us say from 1st to 13th segment, from 1st to 13th segment, preclitellar region or segment. Preclitellar region or segment, 1st to 15th segment. I am sorry here, not 15th, 13th segment. This should be 13 here. Preclitellar region, 1st to 13th segment. 14, 15 and 16 segment is clitellar region or segment, and then the post clitellar region or segment after 16th, means starting from 17th to the last segment, we can call that as post clitellar region or otherwise the segment. Now there are some sperm ethicas located which are present in the 5th to 9th segment, means over here not exactly in the 5th to 9th but intersegmental groove. Intersegmental groove मतलब यहाँ जरा फिगर में समझते हैं. Let us say here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5th and 6th segment के बीच में जो septum जहाँ पर है, groove is there. Depression will be there little bit. You can see at the top and bottom over here. So over there what happens in the segment here, intersegmental groove, one pair of sperm ethicas are there. One pair of sperm ethical apertures are there. Then 6th and 7th and 8th and 8th and 9th. So that means 4 you can see on one side, 4 on the other side. That means 4 pair of sperm ethical apertures are located, and that also on the ventrolateral side. It is not directly ventral, not directly lateral, but in between ventral and lateral. ventrolateral side of the intersegmental groove between 5th and 6th, 6th and 7th, between 7th and 8th, and between 8th and 9th segment. And on the body surface, there are very small minute pores are there, which are called as actually nephridiopores. अब nephridiopores क्या चाहिए? These are opening through which what happens, the waste material that is the excretory substances are discarded out of the body through these openings, which are called as nephridiopores, that we will be discussing in the excretory system when we come. Once again, numerous minute openings are there or pores are there, which are called as nephridiopores. They open on the body surface of the earthworm. And in each body segment, what happened? Except the first, last and the clitellum part. First segment is this one, peristomium. Then clitellum we have discussed 14th, 15th and 16th. And then at the end in the last segment. The structure that I am going to discuss now, this is called as actually as what? CT. SETAE. This is called as what? CT, which is useful in the locomotion. Once again, what I said here, that except the first, last and the clitellum, there is a row of S-shaped CT. कैसा है? S-shape का CT है, which is embedded in the epidermal pits. Epidermis is the outer layer of the body wall. तो वहाँ पे क्या चाहिए? ये S-shape के CT embedded है. And these are present generally in the middle of the segment. You can see over here, this small dotted line is shown here. This is the S-shaped CTs are present, which are helpful during the locomotion. These CTs can be extended and retracted. मतलब थोड़ा lengthwise बड़ा हुआ फिर बाद में छोटा हुआ, यानी contraction and relaxation करके इस तरह से they are able to hold the soil surface, and as a result of that they are able to move from one place to another. That's why here we are talking about the role in locomotion. So that was about the morphology of earthworm. Introduction plus the morphology of earthworm. The next topic is about the anatomy. Anatomy means what? The internal structure. Before that, just note down here in this figure CT what we said. SETAE is missing over here. E should be there. तो CT over here S shape के हैं. And इसकी मदद से क्या हो रहा? They are able to hold the soil, and so they are able to move from one place to another. That means it is helpful in locomotion. The next topic is anatomy, that I will discuss in the next video. Thank you.